Today's Monday monologue is on self trust. What are some things we can do and implement into our daily lives, and what does it mean to have self trust? After that, we're going to meet in the members area and have a conversation on trust and transactional relationships. Smalls mindset with a new hat. Let's go. All right, cool. What up, Ryan? The way to give y'all some insight into my process is I like to write out my thoughts. So I have a thought. Oh, why is self trust important, or why do we lack self trust? And then I'll build on it, right? So if y'all see me looking up this way, it's because I'm looking at my computer and I'm looking at my notes and what I've already built on. I saw this reel maybe about a week ago, and I thought it was pretty enlightening. And the reel was basically saying, if I gave you a complex math problem, how would you solve it? What process would you go through to solve it? And outside of, using a calculator or your phone, you would actually have to sit down and write out the problem, right? You have to solve each particular portion of the equation so that you can solve your math equation, complex math equation. And so life is like that, right? Your life is way more complicated and complex and has a lot of different moving parts similar to a math equation. So the writing things out and being able to compartmentalize the different aspects of my thoughts is what helps me to be able to traverse my struggles and my journeys and confusion. So first, Joviel, we're going to do the monologue. I'm going to talk about self-trust. The Zoom is up. So for my members, you can go into the members area or check your email, and that link is there. But for now, I'm going to focus right here on my folks on Instagram for about 15 to 20 minutes and on self-trust. And then what we'll do is we'll transition over to the members area. If you want to hang on Instagram, that's fine. If you want to come to the members area, that's fine too. So, and y'all are my members. Y'all are more than welcome to sit in the members area. I keep pointing this way because my Zoom's like right here, and all of that good stuff. I'm excited because I got a new hat, a new blue hat. I'm not Canadian, but I thought that was a dope logo with a dope color, so I said I'm about to get that joint. Got two other new ones too. I don't know if y'all seen this one. I got the Batman joint. Batman. And I got another one with an orange M. Orange is my favorite color. So if y'all ever wanted to get me something, if you get it in orange, I'm probably happy about it. Let's delve into the self trust thing. So the first thing I did was I went to Chat GPT and I said, what is the definition of trust? And this is what Chat GPT says. Trust is a fundamental concept that encompasses reliance on the integrity, character, ability, and truthfulness of someone or something. It involves, yes, I'm Batman. I'm Batman. It involves a confident belief in the reliability, honesty, and goodwill of another party, whether it be an individual, institution, or system. Trust implies a willingness to be vulnerable, to depend on others, and to have faith that they will act in one's best interest or as expected. Right? I like that because the definition that Chat GPT gives you is based upon trusting other people, and everything that I built off of kind of works off of that, but it's turned around and redirected towards yourself, right? It is the foundation of healthy relationships, cooperation, and social interaction, fostering mutual respect, understanding, and cooperation among individuals and groups. Trust can be built over time. That's another important aspect to it, right? Is the time aspect. And I'm going to touch on that too, which is that how trust can take a really long time to build and it could just be demolished in a second. And it can be that way with our self trust too. A lot of us are really hard on ourselves and we'll say, okay, I'm gonna go on a diet or I'm gonna work out. And we build that self trust up for a month or New Year's comes around, right? And we build that self trust up. And then after a month or two, it drops off. And then we spend the rest of the year trying to reestablish that same trust that we had going into the new year. Um, Trust can be built over time through consistent behavior, transparent communication. That's a very important. Transparent communication with yourself. That's very important. What's up, Dr. Hope? And the fulfillment of promises. What are you promising yourself? What are you agreeing to? What are you agreeing with yourself to do? And are you actually taking actions on the things that you've promised yourself you would do? But it can also be fragile and easily damaged by betrayal, dishonesty, and inconsistency. Dr. Holt, what's happening? Inconsistency. I think inconsistency is probably one of the uh, most difficult aspects of attaining goals and living the life we want to live that most of us deal with. Sometimes it's legit. We have things to do. We can't do what we want to do. And other times it's just our personality. Um, it could be our family situation, our jobs, lack of sleep, our health, whatever. All of those things bring about inconsistency. My people are filing into my members area. So my members, give me about another 15 minutes. And then once I'm done with this monologue, we're going to have a conversation on transactional relationships and see if that connects to self-trust. So the question is, do we trust ourselves? Right? And what I wrote is, in certain aspects, yes, but in a lot of other important aspects, the answer is no. Right? And in any relationship where there's a lack of trust, you're going to have problems. Right? You're definitely going to have problems if your relationship lacks trust. So if you don't trust yourself to do what it is you told yourself that you're going to do, then your relationship with yourself is flawed. Just like if someone else said, yo, I'll pick you up from the airport at 8 and they just don't show up, right? You're going to have a problem. You're going to have trust issues with that person. So if you say to yourself, I'm going to write a book, and you don't write a book, you're going to have trust issues. You're going to have trust issues with yourself. And then if you dig even deeper into it, we can get to a point where we circumvent our own goals and the processes. And then what we'll do is we will turn around and project that onto other people. So when other people tell us they're going to do something, we'll say, I don't really believe that person's going to do that. But that's not really about them. That's about us. So we doubt our ability to be great. We doubt our ability to be great. That's crazy. And I think Mimi in my members area, I don't know if she said it before, but I know she's mentioned it to me about, and I don't know whose quote it is, but it's about like our greatest fear is not that we are insufficient or something like that. Our greatest fear is that we are great beyond our imagination or something to that effect. And I'm like, yeah, that's real talk, right? That's real talk. So we've gotten to a point where we trust ourselves in certain situations or certain aspects of ourselves, but we don't trust other aspects of ourselves. So we'll question ourselves as like parents, as business owners, as students, as employees. And it's so deep that we've actually gotten to a point where we actually have lost our trust in ourselves as something in something as simple as being men and women. Like, am I a strong man? Am I a feminine woman? Am I a good woman? And all of these different things. And it all comes from a lack of self-awareness and a lack of self-trust. And then if you dig deeper, if you are Marianne Williamson said it. Okay, yeah. So I'll look that up once we get to the members area, because it's a really good quote. And so if you have any belief in a higher power, and you don't have self-trust to the degree that you should, then a lot of us, we even begin to question ourselves as children of God, right? We'll do something, make a mistake, and we more so identify with our sinner self, right, than we do with our divine self, right? And that's a problem, because in order to be able to be successful and live the life that we want to live, we have to be able to see ourselves as the best possible version of ourselves. So if we're beating ourselves up because we're not trusting ourselves, then we then have a problem. So the question is, would you follow someone you don't trust? No. Right? We teach our kids stranger danger. Right? If it's someone that you don't trust, imagine you have a friend that doesn't drive that well. And they say, hey, come on, let's take a ride. Like, I'm good. I might want to take a ride. I might be in the mood for a ride, but not with you, right? And that's because there's a lack of trust. Well, if you don't trust yourself, how are you, your higher self, or you don't trust your higher self, how are you going to allow yourself to be led to wherever it is you want to go? So how can we begin to develop trust in ourselves? And that's what I was saying earlier, is that you can begin developing trust in yourself by quantifying how you develop trust in others, right? What is it that someone else does or doesn't do to or for me that makes me say, hey, I trust that person, right? And so integrity, character, ability, honesty, time, repetition, open mindedness, and an open heart. What's up, Sean? What's happening? Right? So, and that's just 7 of them, right? Like trust is such a deep, it's like the ocean or space. It's so deep. You could come up with any number of, I guess they would be adjectives to describe the things that are in place in terms of building trust. So, what's up, Tar? Character. We're going to talk about character, ability, honesty, time, repetition, and open mindedness. Okay? Character. Doing the right thing because it's in alignment with your principles and values. That's your character. So when you think about someone that you love and admire and they have a really high character, right? Typically we admire those people because they're very principled people, and the way in which they show up in their day in day out lives, or when we get to see them, is in alignment with their principles and values. And character is a big thing that leads to, hi Casey, character is a big thing that leads to respect. Like I say all the time in the members area, I'm not really concerned about whether we agree or disagree. I like the fact that if Casey and I have a disagreement, if Casey stands on a principle, whether I agree or disagree, that shows me her character, right? That shows me that I can have a certain amount of respect for her and show her a certain amount of respect and be reciprocated a certain amount of respect based on our character, not our opinions, which are basically built upon um, our personal experiences. Ability, right? Proving that you can get the job done, right? If you want to build self trust, what you do is you set a goal. Okay, I want to do this. But there's a bunch of baby steps that lead to this. And while there will be moments where you're like, I don't know if I could do this, if you focus on that very next step, every step you take, every baby step, it builds trust. Now, as you get comfortable with traversing the baby steps, what you can do is you can start taking a larger step into the unknown. And why are you more comfortable stepping into the uncomfortable? Because you've built that trust within yourself to know that I've conquered the last 10 baby steps. So there's nothing left to do but continue moving forward, right? So ability, prove to yourself that you can do it. So it's simple. I'm going to work out, go to the gym. I'm going to eat healthier, eat rabbit food, right? I'm going to write a book, start your outline, right? I want to be a poet, get a journal, write some poems. Roses are red, violets are blue. Melissa's the greatest poet alive. I love you. Bam. Right? Step 1. So I've done it just that fast. Okay. Ability. Prove to yourself day in and day out that you can actually become the best possible version of yourself. What's my time check? 6:10. Okay, cool. Honesty. You trust people who are honest with you, not people who always tell you what you want to hear, right? Not people who blow sunshine up you. You know what? You trust people who are honest with you. They say, I don't think that's a good idea. You might argue with them. You might debate them. But when they tell you something's good, you can trust them. And when they tell you something's not good, you can trust them. Why? Because they're honest. You have to be honest with yourself. So if you feel like you created something and it's kind of like, I feel like I could have put more effort into it, then be honest with yourself about the fact that you could have put more effort into it and decide what you want to do with that information. Do you want to go back and build on that? Or do you want to take this newfound energy that you have through honesty and build something new? Did you leave something on the table? If you left something on the table, if you didn't put forth 100% effort, you need to be honest with yourself about that. That way, in your next endeavor, right? You don't have an issue saying last time I didn't go 100%, this time I'm going to go 100% because you're honest with yourself. Time. Time is important. When we think about how long it takes to establish trust in other people, we know that takes time. Okay, well, if that's the case, then it's probably going to take some time to establish trust with yourself. You hear people, and I use the workout thing because that's one of the common things that people do, especially for the new year. They be like, well, I'm going to try this gym workout thing, but I don't know how long it's going to last. Well, give yourself some time. You only got to do it today. You only have to do it today to continue building the self-trust that needs to be built in order for you to become the version of yourself that you want to become. Repetition. And that's in alignment with time, right? How often, moment to moment, are you creating successes? Right? The way the human mind works is it seeks familiarity, right? So the more you do something on Monday, the more likely you are to do it Tuesday. And if you did it Monday and Tuesday, your chances of doing it Wednesday go even higher, right? So repetition is really important. So if you know what goal you want to attain, and you know there's certain steps that have to be done day in and day out, or week in and week out, or whatever revolution it is that it needs to be done, then you need to make sure that you're taking those actions repetitiously. Casey, is repetitiously a word? I don't know if it's a word, but it's going to be a word today. Sounds like something T.I. would say. Okay, cool. Repetitiously, right? If you're going to run for mayor, that means you got to do something repetitiously. If you're going to be a motivational speaker, Cindy, you got to do something repetitiously. And when you get into the habit of actually doing that thing that you actually might not enjoy doing but has to be done repetitively. Dr. Hulk says repetitively. Is repetitiously a word though, Dr. Hulk? Casey said yeah. Um, Either which way, y'all know what I mean. I'm not an English major. I dropped out of college. Anyway, yeah, so come up with a way, a schedule, a format so that you can know that every day at this time you need to be doing what you're supposed to be doing repetitiously and or repetitively to keep you moving. And what happens is it gets to a point where even if you don't feel like doing it, if you don't do it, it feels weird. So like let's say you don't like running, Mimi. Let's say you don't like running, but you start running every day. It gets to a point where even on a day when you don't run, you're like, wait a minute, this don't feel right. And it's because you've programmed yourself to do this thing that makes you successful every day. So when you don't do it, your subconscious and your conscious mind are like, whoa, dog, I know we don't like doing this, but this is what we do. And the universal laws are applicable in the positive and the negative. It doesn't matter. That's why they say the rich will get richer. Why? Because the rich got rich yesterday, so they probably gonna get rich today. And if you poor today, your chances of being poor tomorrow are pretty damn high. So if you poor and you want to be rich, you need to do something repetitiously. And the crazy thing is, y'all know I'm a cop. There are people who do things that are unlawful, immoral, and downright degrading, if that's the word, and they still make money. That's because the law works. The law is what it is. If you do something repetitiously that gets you an outcome, it's gonna keep happening. And the last one I have on here is open-mindedness. And the reason I put that on there is because no journey comes without its pitfalls, its roadblocks. You might pick up a scarecrow along the way or a cowardly lion or whatever the case may be, and you're gonna have to be able to pivot. And having an open mind and an open heart is what's gonna allow you to be able to pivot at times when you have to pivot. Now, since I've been on my journey for the past 2 years in terms of social media, life coaching, podcasting, and all of that, I just stopped keeping count of the times that I've had to pivot. This is a pivot, right? This is different than what I would normally do. Normally, we would just be on here, we'd be chopping it up, and then we go into the conversation. I said, no, I have an affirmation that I can't tell anybody, and going live on Instagram and beginning to branch out into other social media outlets too is more in alignment with that affirmation. So I have to be open minded about the avenues and actions that I can take to fulfill my affirmation. So those are the tenets for today. We'll cover some more in another time. Integrity, character, ability, honesty, time, repetition, and open-mindedness. And then I have on here, with others, trust can be easily broken because 95% of our actions are subconscious. It is of the utmost importance that we don't break our self-trust. When our self-trust is broken, we must do what we would do if we have broken the trust of another. And what is that? So you have a relationship with somebody and you do something that destroys the trust. You got to admit to it. You got to make amends. You got to change your actions, and then you have to instantaneously basically go back into the process of rebuilding the trust, because it could take you years to build trust, and one simple word, phrase, action can just demolish your ability. I mean, the trust that you've created with this person. We can do that with ourselves. I'm going to eat healthy this year, and then you eat a big ass piece of cake and you're like, damn, did I fall off? Okay. So how do you traverse it when you do violate your self trust? And I'm doing pretty good because it's almost 6:20, and then we're gonna get into the conversation. Comment power if you want to join my 12-week super strength program. I would love to have y'all in there. We can sit down and have a consultation if that's what y'all want to do. So let me know. So this is what that sounds like from a mental perspective or from a journaling perspective. You violate yourself You violate your self trust, right? We got to be willing to admit and acknowledge the mishap, make amends, and start taking actions to rebuild the trust. So let's say we've been talking about the workout. Let's say we're talking about the workout. You're supposed to work out every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and then maybe you're supposed to walk on Tuesday and Thursday or something. I don't know. You miss your workout for an inexcusable reason. How do you process that, right? First, you're going to be honest. I missed the workout. And I missed the workout for an inexcusable reason. And you're just going to accept that that's who you are in that moment. I'm someone who said I was going to do something and didn't do it. Now I have to apologize to myself for not showing up, right? There's different aspects of us. We exist on a spectrum. If you really delve into the metaphysics of it, and Camille was here, she could probably tell you about light bodies and emotional bodies and spiritual bodies and all of that good stuff. But there's a version of you that shows up every day. And what you're shooting for is to become that version. And when you don't show up, you admit it, you apologize to yourself. And in that very moment, you can say, and what did I write? I missed my workout. I apologize to myself for not showing up. Right now, I'm going to, let's say you couldn't go to the gym. Right now, I'm going to eat healthy tonight. I'm going to get back on track right now, today, tomorrow, and for the rest of my life. And then you've already began the forgiveness process, and you're already taking actions to rebuild the trust within yourself. Boom. Right? So you're reprogramming your mind to, as opposed to losing self-trust in yourself and allowing that loss of self-trust to become repetitive, what you're doing is you're building the habit of getting back on track. That's what life is. It's a bunch of falling off and getting back up, falling down and getting back up, getting knocked down and getting back up. Right? That's how you win. That's how wins are stacked up. One more example, and then we'll move into our conversation for the day. Something as simple as speaking badly about yourself. That's something that I tell myself I'm not gonna do. If you ever hear me call somebody an idiot, trust and believe I call myself an idiot all the time. But I tell myself I'm gonna stop calling myself an idiot so I can stop calling other people idiots. I do it a lot when I'm driving. I tell Lil, hey, look at this idiot. Look at this idiot right here. And there are times when I do the exact same thing that the idiot is doing. But when he does it, he's an idiot. And when I do it, I'm just a really good driver. But deep down, I know that I'm doing idiotic behavior. So you spoke badly about yourself, right? So, okay, acknowledge that. You know what? I call myself an idiot, and I'm not an idiot. I shouldn't view myself in that way. And we're not talking about this from a shadow work perspective, right? We're talking about just everyday life. I apologize for not treating myself with the divinity that I'm truly derived from. God isn't an idiot. I come forth from divinity. So no, I'm not an idiot. I may make some stupid ass decisions every once in a while, but that doesn't make me an idiot. Right now, I'm going to positively affirm myself, get back on track, today, tomorrow, and for the rest of my life. And then, and this is just a little nugget from one of the things I'm going to teach about in my 12-week program, Comment Power, if you want to join. I have a class on affirmations, and what I teach about is how a lot of the times what we'll do is we'll affirm in the negative, right? So we'll say, I'm not an idiot, or I'm not an idiot, I'm not an idiot. Or if it's bad, we'll say, I'm not that smart. It's I am not, right? But the opposite of being an idiot is saying, I don't know, brilliant. I'm a genius. So you take it out of the negative format, verbally, and you flip it into the positive. I am a genius. I am smart. I am intelligent. I am doing a good job. All of those things. And that, my friends, is just a quick, I don't know, 20-minute crash course on building self trust.